Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and you ever just see something that makes you so mad that you fixate on it for months, okay? It's not healthy, but ladies and gentlemen, as a gamer, as somebody that likes to stop you from getting basically scammed, I think the words play to earn are the biggest scams I've ever seen in my life, okay? It in fact infuriates me so hard when I come across people peddling this stuff to absolutely simple-minded individuals saying, hey buddy, why do you need to do a job? Just play this game, buddy. You can make millions of dollars. You can make some money. You can play to earn. Now, of course, I want to start off by basically showing that this new age Ponzi scheme, this new age pyramid, if you will, this house of cards, is in fact a crock of shit. Now, of course, months ago, I covered something known as Earth 2. I think it's something that I talked about. I like to think that Coffee even covered it at some point, though I'm not sure. And I know that Charlie definitely covered it for sure, too. Like, I believe at a time on TikTok, me, him, and a few other people were basically being used as, like, endorsements, even though that I have never said anything positive about Earth 2. Now, of course, nothing in here I'm going to outright say is a scam because I'm not here to defame anything like this. Look, every single project on the internet has a chance to blossom into something beautiful and fruitful. Except in this case, I'd rather bet my testicles that it'll never happen. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this in fact is not a scrotum, you know, Earth-shaped. This is Earth 2. Now, of course, they're currently opening the Northern Mariana Islands for you to buy. Now, as a quick recap, Earth 2 is a place for you to buy metaverses, or land, rather, on Earth 2. Now, what is virtual land? Let's talk about the reality here, okay? There's two types of land these days, real and virtual. Now, of course, real land is all the way out there, okay? Now, land in reality, there's no new land that really forms, right? And before you go, Bermuda, what about tectonic plates? Okay, let's be real here, okay? Land that exists on Earth as of today, all right, is land that's basically going to be there until the end of our planet. And of course, when you buy land, you buy a physical point on the actual world, right? Now, of course, there's things like eminent domain, governments can have certain rights. Again, I'm not trying to get into the whole, exterior arguments of it. You can buy claims on real land. Now, of course, real land has actual value based on what goes on around it. For instance, land in Southern California will always be worth more than land in the middle of nowhere like, Nebraska, simply because there's actual things going on near that land. There's a reason why people need to go to Southern California, whether it be for work, leisure, or to live amongst other people, versus like an empty stretch of land where there's just not much going on. Again, no disrespect to Nebraskans. I'm just using these as examples. Now, when it comes to virtual land, all right, this is the new age these days. Now, virtual land is sold on metaverses, which are different universes to our own. Now, you can make an infinite amount of metaverses. All it takes is a server and a few server racks and a few systems running, and that's pretty much how it is. You can make an infinite amount of land. Hey, am I out of virtual land? Oh, hell no, don't worry, buddy. We'll just print 30,000 more plots so people can buy them. Of course, there's plenty of companies in this entire mix right now making millions, if not up to billions of dollars, just selling people virtual land.
And even for the people buying it, there's no winners, because if you look at some of these sales, initially when this one plot of land that I just found randomly was purchased was $12,000. Now, after months have passed, it's worth around $3,000. So realistically, anybody buying into this is getting played as well.
Now, to go back to Earth 2 as an example, this land over here, immediately when you buy it, it immediately throws you into California, right? Now, of course, in reality land, if I tried to buy any of this plot in California, it would cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. But of course, it drops me into Mountain View. Now, of course, if I go to Mountain View for a second and I click on that patch right there, you can see that I am looking at the Earth 2 landing screen. Now, of course, somebody once bought that for $9.60, but because of some weird virtual algorithm fuckery going on, it appears that land is worth $6,167. Now, people have been putting massive bids of $45, slightly less than its projected, value, I guess you could say, based on the algorithm. And of course, that can be brought up for anything, right? Like, for instance, if you click on this patch of land right here, this apparently is Google headquarters. In reality, Google headquarters costs millions of dollars to own that plot of land, right? But of course, in virtual bullshit land, this person paid $30 once, And of course, now it's worth 14,500 Earth Dolans, okay? Earth Metaverse Dolans. Now, if you look at the property history, what's really funny about this, what absolutely claps my ass, is the fact that it was bought once and nobody ever bought it again. So of course, if you click on this patch of land right here, this mega campus, somebody bought that for $242. Somebody went to Earth 2, the actual company running this, paid them $242 and bought that patch of land. Now it's worth $48,000. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's on sale for $70,000. No one is going to buy this. I would again bet both my testicles, no one is buying this fucking plot of land. Now, of course, if you go down over here, people have been selling more and more land, and of course, that's just how the Earth Metaverse world works. Now, when you look at the gameplay for these things, you might be wondering, okay, am I just buying Google Map plots? Is that it? No. It's even deeper. There's supposed to be a game behind it, okay? And I want to actually look at this game. Now, of course, beyond what the company has showed on the 26th of June, 2022, they appear to have a map that you can basically, like, I guess, explore all the way around. You know, there's a piece of software called Google Earth that kind of lets you do the same. Games like No Man's Sky, software like Space Engine will kind of let you do it. I'll admit, their version of Earth rendering looks better than the average, but it's nothing special, okay? It's a map viewer, and that's pretty much where we're sitting at. In fact, when I look at the map viewer itself, it really looks like it's part of a goddamn Unity project or a game engine project, and they're just basically, like, exploring the land as it is. Of course, this is plots that you can buy, and of course you can zoom out all the way to the end, but of course you can purchase homes, you can purchase, buildings, different, things on this part of land. Whereas the gameplay, well, ever since we looked at it last time, there's not a whole lot of gameplay to be offered. I guess at some point, they want you to be exploring Earth 2. But see, here's the thing. In the real fucking world, there's this thing known as utility. In a game like Earth 2, there's not so much utility going on. I don't know what they expect people to be doing in these areas other than showing off their NFTs and maybe some other extraneous nonsense. In the real world, people are often using places like office spaces to create industry, do jobs, and whatnot. You understand what I'm going at here? There's nothing in this game that necessarily provides such a beacon of utility that one should ever throw their money into this crap. Now, there's a great article that I found on old LinkedIn by NFT Bros where they said, hey, why are people interested in virtual land? Much the same as with physical land and real estate capital appreciation, the ability to earn money is a big driver for investments. People see the potential of digital universes, rubes, by the way, we call them dumbasses, and imagine a possible shift where people spend less time on mobile devices with small screens, moving towards more immersive embodied experiences. Hold on, wait. This is the world they want. Yeah, they don't want you to sit on a smartphone anymore. They want you to just whip on one of these. Oh, hell yeah, baby. I'm in virtual New York City. While they're sitting in their goddamn crackden in reality. That's the future some of these people want, right? That's how you want to explore the metaverse? I get it. Add that to the explosive growth of the use of cryptocurrencies and NFTs as virtual assets and the FOMO concept, the fear of missing out. I'm glad we read fear of missing out because this is the one buzzword that all of these guys will use to get idiots to jump onto the virtual land nonsense or the play to earn nonsense. Hey, you don't want to be missing out on a chance to make millions of dollars. And it's not completely wrong. Maybe one day they could make millions of dollars, right? Somebody could. All right, listen. In a world like ours, all right, anything is possible. But I would wager a grand majority of individuals will spend hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and never see a goddamn return on investment ever. I'd say 99.9% of those cases would probably be like that. Virtual economies have sprung to life. Can you imagine earning a living in a virtual decentralized economy? It is already possible. Real leaf humans. Real leaf humans? Ooh. God! Have taken up jobs in the metaverse. Decentraland has hired staff for TIS Online Casino. Well, I can tell you right now, a spell check would be absolutely useful. Maybe that might be a job worth investing in. Hosts help visitors navigate their way through the many gambling games that exist, and Decentraland is paying its hosts for 4 hours of work a day, for the equivalent around $500 per month. In the Sandbox, people can make money playing play-to-earn games. So I guess the one example is somebody runs a casino in the blockchain, and I guess they hire virtual customer service. That's the job. That's the wave of the future, sitting at home with the Oculus on or in front of your computer, the big screen, I guess, and just doing a service job. Boy, that sounds depressing. Now, of course, there's multiple lands at this moment in time, right? For instance, Decentraland is one of them, where you can create, explore, and trade in the first ever virtual world owned by its users. So again, this is an actual game one can actually play. But game is a pretty loose term to be using over here. What you see in this game is nothing overly different than something you'd find in other popular games out there. I would wager games like Fortnite and its creative mode offer more than this game has ever offered to its player base. I would argue that games like Roblox, games like Second Life, games like GTA Online, any game that allows players to connect to each other has more utility than this fucking nonsense right here.
What's really insane about the Decentraland metaverse is as soon as you sign into this, I'm going to ask you the question, what is so different between this and other MMORPGs or free-to-play MMO games you could download for free right now? In fact, I'll be real here. After 5 minutes of just logging in, and 4 of those minutes was spent like scratching my balls, I found this one character who straight up mentioned Ponzi coin. If that's not a dead giveaway as to why you shouldn't join these scenarios, just exploring further showed me that this is in fact a cheaper, more crappier version of like even the worst Roblox, handmade games that you could find. This is a joke. But of course, if you want to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into this, look, I'm going to say that's not smart, but then again, I'm not a financial advisor. You make your life mistakes, I'll make mine.
Of course, a big chunk of this land is either developed, undeveloped, or completely forgotten about. And again, as society comes back to normalcy, all right, as we enter the real world again after a pandemic, or, towards the endemic as we are, as we're headed to, hopefully, then people will probably never ever rely on going into virtual scenarios like this. See, virtual land probably has its uses. Maybe if you were talking about advertising, right? Like, could you imagine if you had a popular virtual land like Meta, for instance, right? Like Facebook, Meta, like if they made a virtual world that you could jump into, like Horizon Worlds, the ability to advertise on it would be pretty substantial. We've already seen this with companies like Roblox that have been making partnerships with like actual brands. So yeah, advertising could be a logical thing. But can you really sit there and expect that these companies would allow you, the user, to profit individually, or majority of the revenue would go to you? Would these companies allow you to put, like, say, Coca-Cola ads on your own virtual land? Brother, they own the universe, okay? If they want to just cut you out, what's stopping them from printing their own fucking land? What's stopping them from printing their own section of the metaverse and aggregating any attention towards that, just so they can make more of the advertising sales or actually capitalize on the virtual land for themselves? Why do you have such faith that these companies are going to actually put their money back into you? For them, having a larger player base, having more eyes on them, allows them to aggregate to their primary interests even more. These are virtual worlds that are not owned by the player. They are almost first and always owned by these companies themselves, no matter who they are. Here's another one, the Sandbox metaverse, for instance. Now, of course, this is the problem, okay? Again, virtual land and metaverses are diluted. This is just 2 of many that exist out there. What separates this and Decentraland, of course, is these are actually, I guess, playable experiences. Play, create, and earn. Again, the whole buzzword over here. You can create, build, own, monetize on the Ethereum blockchain. Woo! It's got voxel edits, game makers, and of course, marketplaces. Now, of course, for video game players, these 2 might be important, but they really want you on that goddamn marketplace. Let's not kid around. Because when you go onto the whole marketplace side of things, everything that they sell, whether it be for $42, $21, $7, or in some cases when you're looking at land, which is bought for 1.3 Ethereum. Exactly how much is that? $868. Well, for them, they're basically making money in a way on each and every single one of these sales in transactional volume. See, if you own the house, if you own the entire building, then you're making money off of the transactional revenue that goes on in your house. We've seen it with other games, even games that weren't into cryptocurrencies. Games like the Diablo 3 auction house, for instance, where for Blizzard, the best part was not the people selling the whole thing, it was them making a slice off of every sale or activity to ever happen. If you can do that, you are in the money. The trading volume is where the actual winners sit. Whoever controls controls that is the winner in these scenarios. Everyone else is just a pawn waiting to be bled dry. Now, of course, you might be like, what, Muda? Maybe forget play to earn and winning. What if I wanted to actually play this scenario, okay? What if the game is fun? Well, I'm going to ask you, looking at this gameplay alone, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at 24 frames per second at best and running around a world that honestly could have been rendered in Minecraft in a much more visually appealing scenario, what about this absolutely separates this from other MMORPGs?
Now, to be fair to the Sandbox, I decided to load up one of their world editors, their game maker tools, and load up an example section. And I found this one area that really showed me the future of NFT Web 3.0 gaming. The ability to roam around these areas and fight off fences really showed me what I was missing out in the gaming that I was currently doing.
I would wager, for the average gamer, instead of playing and earning, they could actually play to earn better in an actual MMO game like World of Warcraft, like RuneScape, like Final Fantasy XIV Online. And while that may be against the TOS for those games, you have a better option gold farming, item farming, or just farming characters there and operating within the black market for those specific games. Not that I endorse that crap to begin with. Those games are much more enjoyable, and because of the activity and utility around those games, it actually offers a better value than what you're getting with these dime a dozen cloned virtual land experiences. When it comes to play to earn in video games, there is only one big example that I can bring up that absolutely screams as somewhat of a success story, and that would be Axie Infinity. We saw this a while ago, but the thing with Axie Infinity, and just as a quick primer, is Axie Infinity is a game, and I'm going to show you the gameplay real quick over here. I'm going to blow you away. This is the gameplay you're expecting, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hell yeah. You might be like, damn, Muda, when did the mobile gaming come out? No. That's an offense to mobile gaming. There are plenty of mobile games that are have much more depth than this crap right here. Yes, this game, rather, if you will, relies that you buy actual NFTs known as Axies to play within. I believe you need at least 3 Axies to actually play. Now, for a lot of people who are in the play-to-earn economy, this creates a bit of a classist divide. Now, what I mean by that is if you live in a first-world country where there's more disposable income, or you just have more money in general, you can buy teams of Axies. Now, of course, these Axies go for various prices. You can have $30 Axies. You can have $5 Axies, $6 ones, okay? So, again, the prices are different. You need at least 3 to play the game. So again, the barrier of entry depends on what type of Axie you want, how good they are, and you get the point. But if you look at the land sales, oh fuck, they're charging $3,000? 3,600? 18,000 for land in Axie Infinity? And people are buying it. I mean, Christ, why not? Now, of course, in this scenario, ladies and gentlemen, once you have this team over here, you can then play on Axie Infinity and earn something known as Smooth Love Potions. Now, SLPs are designed to help you progress in this game, but of course, SLPs might as well be a currency, a cryptocurrency, that one can trade for actual usable cryptocurrency or straight up fiat money. Now, of course, the value on SLP changes over time. But where the play to earn really comes into is if you can't afford these, you can always look at things like scholarships. And there are whole boards for scholarships out there. People hiring scholars, people looking for scholars, people who are hiring for entire teams where, hey, we're looking for players, 60% is going to you. Now, of course, this person in this case is offering their team as a way to rent out. So basically, they can afford the team. And they're basically going to people in parts of the world where they don't have that kind of disposable money. So what they have done is said, hey, you can play with my team. I'll give you 60% of the money you earn. I keep 40%. It's kind of like renting out land, okay? It's kind of like these people renting out their NFTs to make money out of. See, in the play-to-earn world, anybody that shills it, absolutely look into if they have invested into this world to begin with. Because what they're trying to do is get volume, get people to jump in, and basically run it in a way that they're the ones that are sitting at the top renting out their characters so that they can basically earn off of the hard work of other people playing these so-called games. And again, nothing that these games do necessarily do anything different compared to traditional games or non-NFT games. I would argue that the NFTs offer nothing else but just a barrier of entry for people who are not playing with the equivalent funds. It just creates that classist barrier of entry. So there's another game known as Evaverse, which is a competitive Web3 social game. Again, Web3 being a buzzword, anything crypto related is mostly a buzzword. Now, of course, this is a multiplayer social platform built for the NFT community. Now, of course, this game is available on Steam, and if you go to Steam, it's a play for free title. And if you actually look at the gameplay real quick, nothing will blow you away. Right now over here, you can see the Grand Prix is happening. So they're basically playing a racing game. How this is different from any other racing game that's not NFT is unknown. What I'm trying to get at is what they've done is they found a way to sell you the hoverboard. You got to buy those hoverboards if you want to bring them into the world of the Evaverse, or these metaverses, if you will. Now, of course, if you look at the hoverboard, for instance, the pricing alone should disgust you. In a game as simple as this, one of these hoverboards can be something to the range of $64. But of course, let's see if we can find something that's actually, low to high. Actually, wait, no, the $64 was the lowest thing. Jesus Christ. What about high to low? Let's actually see what the most expensive one is. See that golden one right there? Oh, that should get your dick hard. That should get your dick hard to the point where you're paying 5 racks on it. So again, if you thought this little cosmetic item was important in your video game, in your NFT video game, you better pony up 5 racks. Now, of course, cosmetic items are not new in video games. Key difference is between Web3 games is when I'm buying a skin in another game, it'll probably be maximum of like $20, $25 if we're being really egregious, versus NFT games where you're paying $5,000. But one would say, Muda, that is playing to earn. What if I got that board and I'm just selling it? Basically, I earned $5,000 or $4,000, whatever my return is. The point of this being is that what you're effectively doing is monetizing the entire side of these cosmetics so that you can sit there and basically invest early and sell it on to a bunch of dumb, innocent-looking rubes who jump into this stuff without any idea of what they're putting their money towards. And now when they buy a $5,000 skateboard in a video game and they realize, oh shit, we can't sell this back, what you've effectively done is basically just... Now you might be like, but Muda, isn't that technically playing to earn? What if I bought that skateboard for $20 and I'm selling it to somebody for $5,000? Now, of course, I would say that maybe it's not morally wrong. Maybe it's not legally wrong, but ethically and morally, it's pretty fucked. Because at the end of the day, what you're doing is effectively finding somebody dumb enough to think that board is worth something, and you're basically selling them a $20 board for an extra $4,000 plus dollars. And of course, if you can live with that, be my guest. But of course, nobody has ever answered the question that I pose is, what do these games do? What do these virtual lands do that you couldn't have already done in video games before? And what actual value does any of this crap provide? This is one of the biggest scams in the industry, and it's one that I'll always 1000% fight against. This is not the case of horse armor in Oblivion. This is the case of an entirely different group of investor bros who have jumped into one of our favorite hobbies and have basically found a way to sell buzzwords to boomers, zoomers, and all accounts, coomers, who have decided to jump into these games, and pump thousands of dollars into with the idea, the belief that they could be making actual salaries on these titles. Maybe that could be real for some, but for a grand majority of people, the reason why play to earn is a big house of cards, a big scam on the outside, is that in order to make this market sustainable, you have to have utility, which almost none of these games have any utility for any of their cryptocurrencies or projects. Nothing they do is different than any other metaverse or any other MMO that has come out before. But beyond utility, they constantly rely on new blood jumping in. See, if you're looking at a free-to-play game or a paid title, typically it revolves around you having a healthy player base. If you have, say, 100,000 players playing a free-to-play title, some of them are probably spending a few bucks every once in a while buying a cosmetic purchase, and that's what makes that line of gaming successful. But when you look at play to earn, you effectively bring in a group of people, they put in their money, they put in all of their cash, and of course, they're starting to earn actual money or actual tokens in your video game. You constantly rely on new blood to jump in, putting actual money in, and hoping, at least for the players, that they can somewhat liquidize their actual earnings at some point in the game too, which may or may not happen. See, the thing with any of these titles is it just requires new blood to come into. It requires exponential growth in a market where there actually cannot be exponential growth. There has to be at some point where these markets eventually stop. Like if you start a metaverse and it's growing at like 100,000 players a day, eventually that growth tapers off. And when that growth tapers off, look at the economy of that world right there and then. It happened to many multiverses out there. There's plenty of multiverses that got attention, got a bunch of people to jump into, but when it came time to cash out or it came time to actually earn money onto it, because there was no more new blood jumping in, what's happening? I mean, we started this video off with Earth 2, and we saw all those points of land that were sold for $30, $60, $250. But without new players jumping in, new utility happening, how much of that land is actually sold? None. At least from what we saw. Ladies and gentlemen, virtual land is and always will be, for the most part, a fucking scam. And these Web3 NFT games are also a fucking scam. If you disagree, well, I'd like to hear your response in the comment section below. But this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.